Night, August 19, 2020. It is the Wrestling Inc. podcast for Wednesday night, and this Wednesday is a little bit different than what we're normal to. I am Justin LaBar. He is Matt Morgan. We have somebody new to introduce to everybody. He is a pro wrestler for, I guess, the best part of a decade. He has wrestled all around the United States, all around Europe, all around Japan. He's lit up Mexico. He is the one and only, the real Sam Adonis. Sam, thank you for coming on with us tonight.
Thank you for having me on. I'm actually really excited about this because I've kind of been blind to the current pro wrestling scene for a while, other than what I've been a part of. So tonight was honestly the first time I've ever watched an entire episode of NXT television, and I really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to talking about it and just see where this leads.
Well, I'm looking forward to your perspective because, like you said, Matt and I were watching this every single week. So this is new for you. For those who don't know, Sam, you were once at FCW, a developmental before NXT. So this will be cool to see how this all translated for you. So it is a weird Wednesday night. We got a new crew here tonight, and also only NXT, no AEW. Dynamite airing on Saturday this week, and I believe the following week due to the NBA playoffs on TNT. You can catch that at 6 p.m. This Saturday. So, guys, we kick off. This is a go-home show, of course, NXT TakeOver 30 this Saturday, and it starts off with the second chance to get into the North American ladder match, the first of two tonight. It's between Johnny Gargano and Ridge Holland. And this one, the big thing to take note of here, and we had a report about this on Wrestling Inc., there's a spot just as they come out of the commercial break. Gargano goes off the ropes and leaps into Holland's arms, and Holland in one motion tries to then slam him, and Johnny lands horribly on his head. This NXT was taped. This actually stopped the taping. This caused Triple H and Shawn Michaels and everybody to come out from the back and check on Gargano. He obviously was okay. Luckily, they picked up the match. The power of editing, they were able to make it look pretty seamless. Ultimately, though, Candice LeRae, Gargano's wife, she's on the outside. She's causing problems and distraction. And Gargano hits his one final beat, which I love that finish from the apron. Hits it on Holland, getting the pin. So Johnny Gargano is the fourth confirmed member for the title match. Matt Morgan, what do you think of this opener?
It was good, but I mean, I'm just going to say this, all right? I was on a house show, and I got clotheslined over the top rope, and it was in a match with Big Show, who's my tag partner. He just got eliminated, too. And so the ropes are still shaking, like, really heavily from his big ass going over. And as I go over, my head gets snapped by the second rope, knocks me out, and then I land in like a lawn dart on the ground. I'm now cold. The referee comes out there, Brian Hebner at the time, is like, man, I go, I can't move. I can't move. He goes, don't worry, I'm gonna get the doctor for you. I got called the biggest you-know-what on the planet because God forbid, I couldn't move and I had a stinger. I just didn't know I had a stinger at the time. And I got carted out of there. And I got called a vagina. I got all these terrible things called toward me from fellow wrestlers. And nowadays, to see that they stopped the damn show, it's both very smart, very safe. So that part's good. These guys are going to have longer careers because of it. But it goes to show you the big difference in just 15, 20 years or whatever the hell it is makes. You know what I mean? So I think it's good in a way they do that. But in my head, I'm like, because I heard the same thing, that they stopped this match cold, because I know some people that were there as fake fans watching. And I hear that they stop quite frequently at these shows to make sure they get things shot right and things of that nature. But so I guess that's good, obviously, for the boys' health, right? But how far we've come. But,
Especially
the match itself, really quick, was all his matches are usually always really good. What's there to really say,
Well, and it's one of the luxuries of taping is that you have the option to go out and do that. Sam, first off, your reaction when you saw the spot?
It honestly brought me out of my seat because, just being in those positions and landing scary and just, seeing how you want your friends to do well, it crushed me. I thought, oh my gosh, honestly, I think they did a fantastic job of covering it up because I had no idea they stopped the tapings. So me, like I said, a first time watcher of the show tonight, I'm like, God, this guy's a machine. How is he able to get back up and pull this off? It was just a scary moment. I could not believe he landed. And I mean, that was just the worst possible angle you could land on anything like that. It was a freak accident. It's one of those things that the guys could have done 50 times and it could have came off perfectly. That one time, it just, it was a little bit ugly. But luckily, he's okay. The match itself was pretty cool. I was pretty impressed by Ridge Holland. I think he reminds me of something out of the 1950s. He seems like, a modern version of Dick the Bruiser or something, real thick, rugged looking guy. Yeah, I don't know. I just it was definitely a good way to start off the show, and I think what they did well was, they started talking about that ladder match instantly. They were planting seeds all day, which ultimately, worked out well for the end of the episode.
Well, you mentioned you liked Holland, Justin Lopez in the super chat, $5. Thank you very much, Justin. He said Holland looks like a baby Brock out there. He has potential, but he's still green. Not quite as big as Brock, but
I have a lot of respect for any wrestler that doesn't wear knee pads, because there's something about that, man. I've spent enough time in the rings to know that my knees, they need to be protected at all times. So if you're tough enough to go out there and do that, you're okay in my book.
And to fill your legs out, boy. I always needed them just to fill my legs out.
It is a very naked look. No knee pads,
Yes.
no elbow pads. I don't remember when it was. I have no idea. But I remember the first time I was a kid and I saw a wrestler have their knee pads slid down over their shins so they could walk around more comfortable. And I saw their bare knee and I was like, that looks so weird.
It looks like underwear, yeah.
Yes.
But that's kind of why it reminds me of a throwback from the 50s or something, because that style was normal back then.
Yep.
Yeah. Indeed. So, as we said, Gargano, he's going to be in the ladder match in the second of the second chance. We'll finish the night, so we'll get to that. Up next, what appeared to be kind of a women's match, Dakota Kai versus Jessie Kamea. I don't recall ever having seen Jessie Kamea on NXT TV. I don't think she has been, because they had Beth Phoenix give a quick little bio on her.
Yeah.
Dakota Kai, of course, is going to have a match this Saturday at TakeOver against Io Shirai. So I kind of thought this was going to be old-fashioned WWF Superstars kind of squash match, but I mean, Kamea got offense. Kamea got a pin, got a 2 count on top of Kai, so it went a little bit longer than I thought. But ultimately, Dakota Kai does get the win. Starts to cut a promo after the match, and then Io Shirai cuts her off. Shirai comes out, starts beating her up and taking her around the NXT arena, until all of a sudden a returning Raquel Gonzalez, who has not been on for a few weeks. We were wondering if they were dropping this buddyship with her and Dakota. Apparently not. Gonzalez beats up Shirai, and we have Dakota Kai standing tall to get some more heat on her before Saturday. Matt, are you excited for this women's match?
Yeah. I think Dakota Kai's got to protect herself a little bit more. I'm not a fan. We killed the business back when I wrestled with 2 counts. You know what I mean? I still think people should earn those counts, and they should mean more.
Sam?
Yeah. I've always been a big fan of the Japanese wrestling style, the women's wrestling, the Joshi. So Io Shirai has been one of my favorites to watch for a long time now. I'm still kind of excited. I know it's probably old news by now, but the whole women's revolution. When I was in FCW, it was not that. The matches that I was seeing live when I had a contract with WWE were not such high intensity and fast paced matches. So, even this was just a small little match, obviously to get Dakota Kai over. I think it was cool that they were able to, get the work in and kind of just, show out a little bit. I don't know anything about this Gonzalez, though. So, she's just a bigger girl. She came in and dominated. But, yeah, overall, I thought it was cool.
Yeah, she hasn't done a lot. But, yeah, I think as they called her on commentary, she's supersized sidekick. I mean, she obviously is bigger than most of the other women. So it's I've kind of said, I make this comparison with Wardlow and MJF on AEW. I say it with Raquel and Dakota Kai. Again, I look at it visually like a Diesel Shawn kind of thing.
Sure, I get that, but in a sense, I mean, I feel like Nia Jax is significantly bigger than this girl, and what I noticed is it seemed like she's coming out like she's China and she's just wrecking everything, and she's kind of a monster. But would that be able to compare on a Monday night? Or is it going to have something? Is it going to be longevity in it?
Except for Nia Jax, I'd say yeah.
Okay.
That's how they've been trying to book her. She's still very new, but she's getting more and more believable with her bigger moves. She's starting to use a bigger move set.
Does she have a lot of experience wrestling outside of WWE?
I don't believe so.
Okay. I don't think so either.
No, I mean, there's potential there. I definitely, I had nothing against it. I just, just thinking big picture.
Yeah.
Then we move on. We have a little Tegan Knox backstage. She's talking about her problems with Candice LeRae, and Candice LeRae's words to her. No match set right now for these two, so that's going to obviously continue on sometime here in the future after TakeOver. We get a video Finn Balor cutting a promo on Velveteen Dream. That will be the main event tonight. Next match, we get the trio of Legado del Fantasma, which is Raul Mendoza, Joaquin Wilde, and Santos Escobar. They go up against Breezango and Isaiah Swerve Scott. The big thing here, Scott obviously is the only one who's gotten a win, I believe, on Santos Escobar, as they noted. And then the finish, a little, sometimes this could be burial of the ref, or it's just upholding the rules, which that's certainly something that's been debated about between WWE and AEW. Scott gets what looks to be he's got Escobar pinned and he's got him done, but the ref says no, he's not the legal man. It's somebody in Breezango, and so ultimately that kills that. And with Swerve arguing, Wilde and Mendoza double team him. Breeze is legal. He comes in from the outside, but ultimately Escobar counters, drops Breeze from the apron, necking him over the rope, and follows up with a Phantom Driver in the middle. So Legado del Fantasma with the victory. Matt?
Awesome. This was really, really good. These are one of those matches with guys doing crap that I couldn't do. So I'm always entertained by the athleticism. I really am. Some guys get pegged down in the psychology. I used to be one of them. But when it's done right all together, it's awesome to watch. This was a good example of that. I like this match.
Sam, you got a lot of experience working in
this match in particular. I was just so happy to watch. Joaquin Wilde's been one of my best friends since I was about 14 years old. I've been able to spend time with Raul Mendoza in Mexico and Santos Escobar. I have a special place in my heart for Lucha Libre, Mexican wrestling, just because it's been so good to my career. But I really love seeing it on a platform like this. I think there's certain little aspects of Lucha and the Mexican style that is so much more intricate and complex that these guys do because they've been doing it for so long, and it looks so natural and easy to them because a lot of them have been in the Lucha Libre school since they were 12, 13 years old. But some of these feats of athleticism are absolutely incredible. So just seeing them out there and just being so seamless and just making everything come off so well. I think that Santos Escobar just has all the potential in the world because he's scary. He's a mean-looking man. He looks like somebody that could play the lead in a movie. I think he has all the qualifications to be something special. It was definitely cool to watch for me. It was great seeing Breeze Dango's still there. Those guys, Tyler Breeze got hired on the same day that I was in FCW. Same day I got hired.
Wow.
And I've known Fandango for all those years. Just to know they're still working at such a high level. It makes me happy to see everybody still out there kicking it.
Yeah, that is awesome. Yeah, and okay.
And sorry, but yeah, and Isaiah Scott, awesome guy. I mean, just he works his butt off. He put in the work before he got there. So just personally for me, watching this just made me happy seeing that a bunch of good guys are in there doing what they love.
Well, you mentioned about how Santos Escobar looks scary. Just to give you things to watch if you want to look at the way they introduced this trio was Escobar. He's kind of making him look like a crime boss. They've had Wilde and Mendoza, kidnapping people in the parking lot, throwing them in the back of SUVs. So it's got that cartel feel to it.
Well, see, that's another thing. I've always been a big fan of the character aspect. I think most wrestlers, my favorite wrestlers, let's put it that way, they come off a little bit more exciting in my eyes when they are a bit more of a comic book character. I don't really, I don't think you want to see normal people out there. I think it always helps when somebody has that special look or they have their character down to a science. And then, at the end of the day, it's more believable. It's more exciting. And it's easier for you to get lost inside a match of theirs.
Sure. And you would know. I mean, you still actively do that very well. Folks, if you haven't watched Sam Adonis stuff, find it. He can get a crowd pretty riled up with his shenanigans. All right.
Bleach blonde hair will do that to you. You got to look like an idiot and people will hate you.
That's why I would wear the white shoes to the ring. It looks ridiculous.
There you go.
All right, so we see in the parking lot rather, SUV pulling up, and Pat McAfee pulls up to the building, and he's not alone. He's got former NFL players AJ Hawk and Darius Butler, and a third person who I don't think they ever named. I don't know who he was, but we got him, and then we know we got the Undisputed Era, that they're all going to have this showdown, this battle of words. It's WrestleMania 11 all over again. Where's Lawrence Taylor? Where's Bam Bam? So we come back, and that's what we're now building to here is this match between Pat McAfee and Adam Cole this Saturday. Pat McAfee's first time having an official match. Undisputed Era comes out. Adam Cole just immediately asking, saying, "Where is he at? Where is he at?" Of course, Adam Cole got his head kicked off a couple weeks ago by McAfee when McAfee was doing a guest spot. And so Pat comes out, and Pat says, "I knew you wouldn't come without your stooges." And so I brought some help of mine. Eventually, Adam Cole tells his guys to step back. They go outside the ring. Pat McAfee's guys step off as well. And then we get Pat McAfee cutting a pretty lengthy promo, and just going on and on about how he's made $1 million in all these different endeavors. He talks about his pedigree of athleticism, and that he would beat Adam Cole. This is I like both of these guys. I'm actually looking forward to this match, and I'll tell you more after you guys talk. But this was a little confusing because it's like normally when they have the person come from the outside, normally they try to set them up as the baby face.
Yeah.
And Adam Cole has been such a good heel for the last 400 plus days when he was champion. This is a little odd. You have McAfee insulting the wrestling fans. This was confusing
because it's not how it was supposed to go. Duh. Yeah. Pat McAfee went into business for himself after, that punt, obviously, and started cutting like 1980s heel promos, thinking he was Roddy Piper out there. That's what all athletes do. They can't wait they want to be in wrestling so bad, and they want to play a character so bad that it's always easier to be the heel. It's always more natural too for a lot of athletes to do that because they've all got it in them. Somebody probably should have gotten with him beforehand and let him know this. I don't know. I just know for sure he is not the babyface. Yeah, it's weird because you don't want to be rooting for Adam Cole either because he's done such a good job of being a heel, I thought, this whole time. But all in all, I thought it was a good segment.
I think I have a little different way to look at this, coming in blind. I haven't seen Adam Cole's heel run. I don't know where it's at, but I know I thought Pat's promo was awesome. I thought it was really good. If his job was to do that, if he wants to get people angry, I think he did a great job. I don't know what the future is going to be. I don't know if maybe, he's here only to put Cole over, because if that's the case, maybe you do want to babyface Cole a little bit for this time, because Pat McAfee has a busy schedule. He's not going to be able to do there and make these commitments. So maybe, they wanted to do an old switcheroo, have him come in there, get some heat, babyface Cole for one night, and then ship McAfee out the door. I don't know the plans. I haven't talked to anybody about these things, but I thought it was a very entertaining segment. The only thing that I don't understand is, in my opinion, just somebody that doesn't watch too much wrestling, I would think that an angle with somebody the caliber of Pat McAfee would be a Raw or SmackDown angle.
So interesting you say that, Sam. I thought that too, and we kind of got the answer to that today. I'll reference this several times, so the fans that just might be joining. Triple H did his media call that he normally does right ahead of TakeOver, and he was asked about Pat McAfee, but he ended up revealing this himself without being asked. He said that he knows that the setting of NXT, I'm paraphrasing, the work rate, the quality of what is expected of a match is higher, and that if you screw up on an NXT TakeOver in terms of your in-ring performance, you're going to get more heavily scrutinized than maybe you would by a Raw or SmackDown audience. Triple H said, knowing that, he wanted Pat McAfee on the spot. He said, Pat, and this is known, Pat has been training for some time. Triple H said he's seen Pat train, and that he's a natural. So this is not going to be like a Drew Carey in the Royal Rumble kind of thing. Like this, apparently they're going to try to give this an actual match and let Pat McAfee surprise the fans.
Well, that makes sense. Go ahead, Matt.
So the other part of why it is because the main part why it's not on Raw or SmackDown is because Adam Cole's on NXT. And this all started with Adam Cole going on McAfee's show, acting the fool, going bonkers on him, throwing his speakers, kicking things over, and blowing a hissy fit and being a great heel. So that's why he's coming to see him on his show.
Sure, but what I mean is Pat's been wanting to do this for a while. He's been involved with WWE, but he's wanted to wrestle for a while. They could have set him up with a feud for somebody on Raw or SmackDown is what I think Triple H was saying, but they just,
You still think that wasn't, you still don't think that was him going really crazy on the show?
No.
Okay.
No.
It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out, though, because, like you said, if the quality standard of the match is a lot higher, you almost have to take it in a different direction story-wise. Because if he's coming in with the experience, if they're going to acknowledge the fact that he's been training wrestling, sure, you can expect a better match. But a lot of time, the grand scheme, the big picture is going to be that this outside athlete is coming to the wrestling world. I think it might look kind of silly if he's going to come in there with all this experience if they're not acknowledging that in the storyline.
Sure. Well, in the storyline, he's saying he's had 2 weeks to train, which obviously he's been training much longer.
So
yeah,
that
Rip
might,
Rogers training.
if he goes out there on Saturday and has a 5-star classic with Adam Cole, I think that might kind of lose some continuity story wise. But either way, just coming into it blind, I thought he was, he did a good job. I like the idea of him being a heel because it would be a good way to kind of hotshot NXT, get him some attention from some outside viewers, and then when he goes away, maybe they have a few new fans.
Sure.
And Adam Cole gets more over in the process.
Sure.
Thank you, Justin Lopez, for another $5 in the super chat. He said McAfee was amazing here. I thought he cut an amazing heel promo. The $1 million in 7 different industries line was fire. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously football, podcasting.
I was thinking.
I don't know. I don't know if he has like an endorsement with a clothing brand or an alcohol. I'm trying to think, but I was, that's pretty.
Protein bar, strip clubs, adult entertainment. Who knows?
Hey, those are done away with in the COVID era, my friend.
Yeah, true.
He's a really good promo, though. All things said, he's a great promo.
He does it for a living, man. He's doing these podcasts,
Right.
On a grand scale. He didn't stutter one word. You could tell he's a fan, though. You could tell it's something he's always wanted to do because he slid right in there and did well at it.
Yeah, you're right. He cuts a heel promo essentially for 3 hours a day, every day on the show. All right, here, and again, encourage the super chats if you guys have them. We'll always throw up your questions or comments as long as they are appropriate. All right, up next here, we got some women's tag team action. The Robert Stone brand leading Mercedes Martinez and Aaliyah up against Rhea Ripley and Shotzi Blackheart. All these ladies have had intersect with each other, so that's kind of what they're playing off here. Again, if you're looking for the highlights from us to go back and fast forward into DVR if you missed it, take a look at the finish here. This was Rhea Ripley catching Martinez on the apron on the outside and power bombing her over the guardrail onto the cement floor. So that would then lead to Rhea Ripley and Shotzi Blackheart. Shotzi actually is the one that got the pin here. So Robert Stone brand, they are as quick as they are up, they are down each week. Matt,
Tell him who took the pin, though.
it was Aaliyah.
So this was good because this doesn't hurt Mercedes. I was worried about maybe making her take the loss, which thank God they did not do. But this was good for all things. I mean, what a hell of a bump, though. God.
Yeah. Sam?
I think it was cool just because it shows the diversity of the product right now. It was just, a storytelling tag match. It wasn't, they didn't go out there to show off too much. It really, kind of set the stage of the fact that the women's superstars are just as equally important as the men these days. It was just a straight up tag. Mercedes is one of my favorite wrestlers ever to watch. Rhea Ripley's fantastic as well.
Was that your first time seeing her?
I saw her at WrestleMania.
Ripley?
I watched the WrestleMania match with Flair, and that got me going. So it was just cool just seeing them do that, and it just felt like a match. It just flowed perfectly. The story got across, and I enjoyed it.
Doesn't she have a really good look,
Oh my gosh,
Ripley?
she's unbelievable. That match at Mania, she just tore the house down with Charlotte. That I think was probably my favorite match I saw.
It was great.
And what's crazy about Rhea Ripley's look, Sam and Matt, Matt, I think Matt knows this, but Sam, if you Google a picture of Rhea Ripley when she first got to NXT, she was kind of like your stereotypical, just the long blonde hair, like generic ring gear, like, so she's really made a point to like the shaved head and the look. She's really made a point to find an identity that stands out.
I can appreciate that for sure. Just like I said, I like the characters, the larger than life, the comic book style characters, and she pulled that off well. When she walks, I guarantee when she's walking through the airport or the shopping mall, heads are turning, and I can have respect for anytime a wrestler can do that. That shows dedication to the art, and I think that's cool.
Sam, how many head turns do you get with your blonde hair?
Well, I haven't been to the airport much in this last 6 months, but normally I get head turns for another reason. It's not the blonde hair; it's the charming smile and the tan.
When you walk into when you walk into Ribera's in Japan, how many shots of sake do you get offered when you walk in there?
Oh my God, they don't do shots of sake. They give you a lot of beer though, and it's all in the house, so it's okay.
Very good. All right, next up we get what WWE can do so well, which is their video packages, their editing. This one all about the NXT World Title match that is a Saturday. This is the match I'm most looking forward to because of both individuals, but Karrion Kross is just. They've really got a quality control on him. They have protected him well. So this is Karrion Kross and Keith Lee showing the story of how we have got to this. again, very good. This gets you hyped up. Sam, again, for you being a first-time viewer, did this do the job? Did this catch you up? Satisfied?
This was unbelievable. This was kind of one of those moments that made me realize why I love pro wrestling. I mean, WWE is the best on earth of creating hype. This one kind of took me back to being a kid watching, the WrestleMania 17 Austin Rock promo. When you have the right music with the right guys with the right story, you can create magic. And this, I know both of these guys very well personally. Great guys. I'm happy for them to be on this stage, and just seeing that, seeing these guys, like I said, both of them larger than life, comic book character style. This package worked, and I'm definitely all for watching that this weekend.
Matt,
same thing. That was awesome. To dissect, this is what they do best.
Sam, I pop when you said that. My first WrestleMania was Mania 17, and hearing that Limp Bizkit "My Way" blaring for Rock and Austin.
To this day, that's the best video package ever put out. Was the one right before that. That was so good.
Yeah. Well,
where the music catches up when they start punching each other.
Yeah. Oh man, it was so good. The angle, the story, the guys. Sometimes you will have that perfect storm. Luckily, I mean, there's a lot going on, and they always have to do their best to make the packages. But when one is, golden, it's golden, and a lot of people remember it forever.
Well, speaking of music, it is to note they're heavy with Metallica right now. Metallica has a song that's the official theme song for NXT TakeOver this Saturday, but then they used an older Metallica song from their Saint Anger album that they used for this particular package. That really, if you listen to it and feel the music, it matched up really well as well for this.
That's really cool too. Just the fact that WWE has grown to the level where it is just mainstream every day. It's a household name wherever you go. Now Metallica, wants to work with WWE. Maybe 25, 30 years ago, wrestling was kind of, not on the level. Now it's to the point where these, A-list celebrities want to be a part of it. Pat McAfee and Metallica on the C Show on a Wednesday night. It's a pretty damn big thing.
Mm-hmm.
Matt, you said what's there to dissect? This is just a really good package. I guess we can, because I'm not going to do the whole card, but I think for this match in particular, let's just do our predictions for NXT TakeOver between Cross and Keith Lee, because you have Keith. Well, you have Keith Lee, who just became champion relatively not that long ago.
Yes.
But you have Karrion Kross, who you can't have this man get pinned.
No.
So, and now again, I'll reference Triple H call. He said, sometimes you do these things because maybe what they have. He basically said because you sometimes know what maybe this holds in their future, and so you want to get it while you can have it. To me, I interpreted that as, and they've confirmed there's going to be a draft soon, that Keith Lee is Raw or SmackDown bound. So this is a chance to get Keith Lee and Cross done, and this is a chance for Keith Lee to drop the title.
Before you said that, I would have said they kind of booked themselves into a corner here, because neither guy can lose. So I don't know. Is it a DQ somehow? Is it for the first time? I don't think I'd be upset with a DQ here. I just don't want to see either lose. As a fan, as a mark myself, I don't want to see either guys lose. I'm a fan of both.
If it's not the last match Saturday, because certainly they made a case for this 5-way ladder match could be the last match Saturday because they put so much stock in it. If Lee versus Cross is anywhere else on the card, you could do a screw finish and be okay. But if it ends the night, you got to give people something decisive, right? I mean, I don't know. Yeah. Sam, we debate this a lot because AEW, which I know you didn't get to see tonight, AEW, they're like ECW of the 90s. They don't believe in DQs. There's always a finish, and sometimes we knock that, me especially, because I'm like, what's the point of having rules if there's having no rules, or what that does nothing for the heels? Whereas WWE sometimes uses DQ as a cop out.
And Sam, AEW keeps score of all their records, so you have all these guys with like 500 records that should be main event talent, right. Perceived that way.
Well, I think that, and I don't think AEW has anything to do with this particular case. I think WWE always looks big picture. And they know what they're doing, not just now, not just 3 months from now, but they know what they want 2 years from now. And, it's something as simple as that. Like, if that's the implication, that there's a draft coming up, they probably wouldn't have any doubt. They wouldn't have any reason not to, put crossover clean, just because if they know Keith Lee is going to go move on to bigger, better things, they're looking this as just one, tiny portion of their market, which, I wouldn't be able to tell you. I'm too fresh to this angle and storyline. I'm interested in seeing, you guys pointing this out to me makes me even more interested. That's kind of the fun now, having the people know a little bit more about the backstage stuff. But I think that's kind of why people, are interested now. They don't know. They think they know. They think they know where it's going and what they're going to do. And they want to know, but they don't know, so they have to buy the pay-per-view or pay for the network. And that's it's beautiful. It really is a good thing.
Yep.
Sam, did you ever work when he was Killer Cross? Did you ever work a match with him?
I've been on probably 30 shows with him. A great guy. I've never been in the ring with him, but we worked for the opposite wrestling companies. I was with CMLL in Mexico. He was with AAA. So we were they were drawing parallels between us both. But, naturally, when you hear someone else's name that many times in a foreign country, when you meet that person, you're probably going to talk a little bit.
Right. Very cool. Very cool. All right. Into the main event we go. It is the second of the night, the second chance qualifier match for TakeOver. It's Finn Balor versus Velveteen Dream. Dream had been off TV since June. The last match he had, Sam, was he lost in a title match to Adam Cole. It was done kind of like a outdoor. They put a ring outdoors and they had cars surrounding it, kind of Fast and Furious feel. He lost there, and we hadn't seen him since. He came back last week as a surprise third man in a match. Did not win, but that's how he's gotten himself into this. So we have Finn versus Dream. This match, it was the longest match of the night. This had a little bit of everything. You had some quick back and forth to start. Then they got into some brawling. Then they got technical on the mat. Finally, then what ultimately happens is Cameron Grimes first comes out. He is one of the competitors that's going to be in the ladder match. He comes out and actually climbs his way to the top of one of the ladders they have propped up out there along with the North American title. And he's out there, and eventually he's out there. Johnny Gargano comes out. Gargano pushes the ladder. Grimes flies into the ring, knocks out the ref. So now the ref's down. So now you got Johnny out there. And then we had Bronson Reed come out. Then we had Bronson Reed corner Johnny. Johnny backs up. He runs into Damian Priest. All these guys, of course, in the match.
Are you writing this down on a chart? Is that I don't remember how you can remember all that.
I'm reading notes here.
Okay.
And then after that, then it's all haywire. And eventually, the big thing you need to know is everybody gets a piece of everybody at some point. Gargano's outside. He gets attacked. Or excuse me, Finn Balor's outside. He gets attacked by Timothy Thatcher. They've had a little bit of history recently. Thatcher hits him. Throws him back in. Dream hits the Dream Valley driver. All of a sudden, the ref is now magically awake. Velveteen Dream at the win. Velveteen Dream is going to be joining the match. And then once again, Gargano comes in, takes him. Everybody takes everybody. Finally, Bronson Reed is the last man standing, holding the title. So, Matt, we know that Raj's booking theory is if Bronson Reed is standing tall at the title, he's not winning the title this Saturday.
That's it. You took the friggin' wind out of my sails there. Yeah.
Oh, did I? Sorry.
That's exactly what I was going to say, though. That's the way it always gets set up.
Yeah.
It's weird. But this was another great segment. This is why this show is so damn good. This show, almost from start to finish, was pretty easy to watch all around. Really good. But this was another good one. I mean, there's you can't, Sam, now we can't call them like the developmental.
Yeah,
it's like
it's
insulting now, right?
Right.
And it's my favorite brand for WWE.
Sure.
It is. And I'm a super mark for all three shows. This one is just, god dang, so good. And it was great to watch it without being distracted watching AEW at the same time. Like
You
we
can
don't really
dedicate.
have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
This was really good, though. This was another great segment that I was like, god dang, these guys are so damn good.
I absolutely love this part. This again, I think they did, they lived up to the hype and making sure that the main event of the night delivered for sure. I think Devitt is honestly there. I'm sorry, Balor. I'm sorry about that. He is honestly as good as it gets for a wrestler. A guy that just, comes off as no nonsense. He doesn't really go over the top as much, anymore. He doesn't do the paint and stuff, or he didn't tonight at least. But he is so intense. Everything he does is just brutal. I really thought it was good. And then honestly, I've heard the name Velveteen Dream for the last 5 years. I've never seen him wrestle, but I absolutely loved him. I thought he was so good. His character, his presence, everything that I love about professional wrestling, and in particular a wrestler, he has. He has the look, size, walk, talk, everything.
You talk about characters and stuff. This guy is it as far as his character goes. It's so over the top. Did you remember that he was on was it Tough Enough? What was it?
No,
they did like a bootleg, I can't call it that, but like a non-MTV version of Tough Enough on the network, right? Or USA, one of the two. And he was on it just as like Joe Smith or whatever.
Patrick Clark.
Super generic, really shredded, good shape guy. got heat with the other castmates and was booted from the show. But the dude was like 17 or 18, super young. He still is young. He gets signed to a contract, develops this character, and it's just super over the top. And he's so young to be being able to pull this off. And you know the boys, you get me included with the stuttering gimmick. You get hit with a character that you think like you're too good to do. You're like, oh, I'm not doing that. I'm better than that in your head, like that. And then you have this guy who's just like, oh, this is different. I'm gonna make this different. It's really good.
Oh, it was absolutely phenomenal. Again, like, just using the same reference about comic books, I could see Velveteen Dream play a villain in a Marvel movie. You literally can see that same character you watch in the ring and, cut him out and put him in the next Avengers. He's that colorful. And that, to me, is what professional wrestling is about. Because, unfortunately, now, you're not going to be able to get everybody involved all the time.
Right.
But, when you're really good at what you do, you make them forget about reality. They can actually escape into a product. And when something, there's no holes to see through in that character. And the same could be said for Finn Balor. Because he is so good at what he does, he's no nonsense. He's not flashy and over the top. He's not as much of a character as Velveteen Dream. But when you watch him move in that ring, just the way he had, and it all comes from the 15 years experience in Japan. I think this main event really delivered. I think that all those run-ins at the end, they were great. I think it did enough to set up for Saturday. But then for someone like me that might have never seen the product before, you got to see a little bit of everybody. You got to see enough of who they are, what they do, what their style is. I think it really set up for next week. And I kind of agree with you guys, though, as far as the guy with his arm in the middle of the ring at the end of the show probably isn't winning the pay-per-view.
And Justin Lopez, he wanted to pay $2 to disagree with us and say this finish had main roster stank on it. So not a fan. So
that's a bad thing? What, NXT fans don't like the main roster, right? It's like separate audiences now?
Oh, you just offended Justin. Justin,
yeah, see,
he does not like us to refer to Raw or SmackDown as the main roster. He's
they're
all equal.
Well, Matt kind of said it earlier. I hate it when people say, oh, he's getting called up to Raw or SmackDown. I say he's going over to Raw or SmackDown because this is no longer developmental.
I apologize. Like I said, I've been out of this loop for a while.
It's the most living in Mexico. Show. It's the most entertaining show. Have you seen Jindrak out there?
Yeah, I worked 2 years with him. He's one of my favorite people down there all the time. That's Mark Jindrak, whoever out there doesn't know who we're talking about, but he was a big star in Mexico. He was an idol on all the TV novella soap operas. So I love him to death, man. Good guy.
Jonathan Pareto, $4.99 super chat says, don't know how I feel about the punter, talking about Pat McAfee, making Undisputed Era look so small and the punter cutting better promos than 85% in the roster. Awesome show tonight. There's no a bigger offense to refer to a football player as the punter, the one guy who doesn't get hit.
Special teams.
Right.
Seriously. That's pretty bad.
The punter.
Jeez.
So that was NXT tonight. So again, not as much wrestling on to watch, not as hectic. We were able to kind of give more love and attention to detail to NXT. I'm not sure how I'm going to do this once we get back to having post shows. It's like an ADD test. But nonetheless, NXT, go home for NXT TakeOver 30. There will be a post NXT podcast here on Saturday night that will also touch on the AEW Dynamite. I think now time for the news. We got a few news topics.
Real quick, before we do, can we do one quick predictions? Because we're pretty short on time.
Sure.
Just do a roll through of the pay-per-view and just give our predictions real quick.
Yeah.
Is that cool?
So we'll do that real quick here. No. NXT Women's Championship match, Io Shirai, the champion, defending against Dakota Kai.
Io Shirai all day.
All right, Shirai.
Yeah, I agree as well. I don't see Shirai dropping right now. Adam Cole versus the punter, Pat McAfee.
I'm going Adam Cole.
McAfee.
I'm going to say McAfee too. I don't know how they do it. I don't know what the plan is after.
Me either.
But all right. Like I said, this is what I'm looking forward to the most. Champion Keith Lee defending against Karrion Kross.
Why did I even ask to do this? By the way,
Karrion Kross over clean.
Yeah. Ooh. Oh,
I might know. That was just don't quote me on that one, but I'd like to see it.
somehow some tomfoolery and shenanigans take place to protect both.
I say cross, but let's keep in mind he does have Scarlett with him, and so Scarlett could be an instrument
so
to help him beat Lee, but still protect Lee.
Right. Forget I said clean.
So if he loses, it's all but for sure he's going to Raw or SmackDown right after, right?
There's supposed to be a draft, I think, in October, so maybe not. I mean, so they could always give him a month or two to cool off and just disappear and reappear on the draft. Yeah.
I'm gonna stick to my finish. Schmaz, something to not have a definitive finish. Nobody's being pinned, is what I'm saying.
Okay. And finally, this one again that kind of dominated a lot of the night for the storyline. Bronson Reed versus Damian Priest versus Cameron Grimes versus Johnny Gargano versus Velveteen Dream. Ladder match for the vacant NXT North American Championship.
I am now a fan of the Velveteen Dream. So he went over to this week on TV. There's no reason why he can't get his same momentum back that he had before he left. Go for it. Get him that belt.
It should be him. I'm going to say Grimes, though.
Ooh. I'm going to be different as well. I'm going to go Damian Priest. I'm going to go. I like the size. I like what he brings. I like the character that he's done.
He's a whole package.
He really is. He really is. Big fan. Like I said, I was a fan of his work when he was Punishment Martinez, and I like the spin of what he's got going on here in NXT. All right, so that is your predictions for NXT TakeOver. Again, that's this Saturday night. You can watch on the network, and you can be here on the Wrestling Inc. YouTube live after the fact. I don't know who the combination of who's going to be on, but it will not be me.
I'll be on.
So it'll probably be you, Glenn, and Raj, I would think. Saturday. So.
All right, guys, I got to run. I want to thank everybody.
All right, Matt.
So much. Good talking to you. People that don't know, I've known Sam and his family for years. I did a show, a few shows in Pennsylvania, and Sam was riding 15. In the back. I know, you were in the back seat, picking us up from the airport at the time, I remember. Great family. Your brother took good care of me, too. Let me crash on his couch, too, a couple of times. All around awesome family and a really good, huge contribution to pro wrestling. I mean, there's no way your dad could have predicted this for you, too. No
I don't know, but we have very interesting dinner time conversations, that's for sure.
Seriously,
between his Monday night's TV star and his one kid that's kind of well known in Mexico, I think some people find us quite interesting sometimes. So,
no,
thank you, though.
It is a very good worker, and everybody respects your work. So
thank you. It's great to see you, man. We got to do this again sometime. Take it easy.
Hopefully, we do it next Wednesday.
Yeah, I hope so too. Love you, brother. See you, Justin.
Take it easy, guys.
Bye.
Yeah, so that is Mr. Matt Morgan. I guess I'll take this off here. There we go.
That was nice of him. That was really nice to say. I feel all cuddly on the inside now. That was nice.
Yeah, again, and just for people, and I want to do this because obviously, Sam, you're being introduced to the Wrestling Inc. Audience. Again, if you guys aren't familiar with Sam, I encourage you to follow him on Twitter. Of course, I just took his Twitter graphic off at Real Sam Adonis. YouTube and Google. I mean, Sam has really been all around the world. Him and his family from Pittsburgh, and a big part of the Pittsburgh wrestling scene. I wasn't quite involved. I might have just moved here, but I certainly heard about you and your family, and of course now come to know you and your family. It's really cool the history you have dating back to you being a youngster of growing up in the business.
Well, the funny thing is like I'm no different than anybody else. Like we started as just kids. My dad was promoting small shows, but we loved it. And I like to look at the inspiration as anybody can do anything they want. I'm a perfect example of somebody that really didn't deserve anything, but if you work for it and put the work in, you can get it. So, I encourage anybody to follow their dreams and do their best. I'm just lucky I've been able to complete a couple of mine.
All right, and real quick before we get the news, I see another super chat if I can get to it here. Okay. Steve Marcachulli, $1.99. Thank you. Retribution causes double DQ in Cross versus Lee. Sam, you might not. I don't know if you even haven't seen this. Retribution is a storyline they have going on in Raw and SmackDown. It's a bunch of masked.
Yeah, this Antifa type thing or whatever.
Yeah, but to note here, the one show they haven't came on yet is NXT. So
okay, yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah, I don't want people to think I'm completely out of touch because I still have my social media. So I see these people. I might see clips and GIFs or pictures. I've heard of them. I'll read a result here or there. But I just haven't watched an actual TV program. I don't know the storylines, where it's coming from, where it's going. So I really enjoyed it tonight, just being able to watch it as a fan once again.
All right, so we're going to do 2 news headlines here, both of them of, unpleasant nature. One, I'm just going to read you this facts. I'm not really going to go into it more just because of what it is. So Velveteen Dream, he disappeared from TV as noted in June. He also in June got in a car accident. That has been what Triple H and the company has said, contributed to him being off camera some. Also around the same time as allegations to different people in the wrestling world who were coming out in a movement on social media, there were some allegations of Velveteen Dream, with some people online. And Triple H spoke to CBS Sports. Let me try to find the exact. I want to make sure I have the correct exact quote. So Triple H spoke to CBS Sports earlier this week, and basically said that they did look into the accusations, but they didn't find anything. He said, so obviously we take all these things very seriously. Allegations of misconduct of any nature we take very seriously. I'm sorry, this is what he said today on his call today. I'm sorry. Obviously, we take these things very seriously. Allegations of misconduct of any nature we take very seriously. I'll stand by what I said on CBS. We looked into it, didn't find anything there in the manner of what we're looking for, and we moved on. But it doesn't change the fact we take it seriously. If there's something else there, we'll look into it. That goes across the board for anybody, but we've already talked about it, so I'd rather just move on from other topics. He was asked this today on his call because there's apparently another accuser who's out there who's saying WWE never even contacted them during their investigation. He's alleging that. So Triple H doubling down on his comments that WWE has done their due diligence. And so that's made people wonder when Dream came back last week, it kind of confirmed he's still with the company because there was just, internet rumblings that maybe he had quietly been let go. So that's that. The other one, Sam, this one's, luckily it's okay. I guess I'm going to say happy ending, but everybody's okay. But this one's scary. Sonya Deville, who was one of the female talents in WWE, last week she had a stalker travel from South Carolina, find her address, camped out her house, was on her porch, watched her go to sleep at 1:45 in the morning, had mace, zip ties, all kinds of things, broke into her house, set off her security. She woke up obviously because of it. Her opponent this Sunday at SummerSlam, her real life good friend Mandy Rose, was in the house. Sonya sees this person who's invaded her house, realizes that no, he's not here to rob her because he starts coming at her. He's here to hurt her.
Oh my gosh!
She runs and gets away from him. Luckily, she runs, gets Mandy Rose, and they flee to the car in the garage and get out. This is all now according to Sonya's what Sonya had to her statement that she had to give to the court of the police. The invader thought that she ran upstairs, so he went upstairs. Luckily, they got to flee away to the point of the guy that this 24-year-old nutbag was still in the house when the police showed up.
Oh my goodness!
And he did admit to the police that he was there. He was there to get her to take control of her, and they ended up finding Sonya Deville. Obviously, you can imagine the amount of message requests she gets on social media. They never realized it, but then when she typed this guy's name, when she learned of this guy's name, who he is, when she typed this guy's name into her Instagram, found all kinds of messages from him that ranging from suicide to admiration to,
oh my goodness,
to even to the point where he wrote that evening at like 12 something in the morning when he was on her porch, I'm on your porch and I'm coming to, like, it's
awful.
Yeah, it's nuts. So this 24-year-old he's remains in Hillsborough County Jail, attempted armed kidnapping, criminal mischief, armed burglary, aggravated stalking. So, and she's having a mat, and we have not everything up to this point has been taped for the last few weeks, so we have not seen her on camera since this happened. So the first time we're going to see her is live this Sunday, where she's going to have a hair versus hair match against, in real life, her best friend, but on screen, her nemesis.
That's unbelievable. The fact that she's able to keep it together long enough to get back to work that soon, that's pretty impressive. Because that situation is just awful for anybody to be in. Surprised she doesn't need time off.
Sam, you ever had to deal with a stalker?
Oh my, kinda. I ran away. I ran away from Mexico. My ex-girlfriend scared me, so I literally I got booked on a show in Los Angeles, and I never went back to Mexico after that. So I came home to Pittsburgh, told my parents I'm in hiding, and don't tell anyone where I'm at. So kinda, but not nearly as bad as what Sonya's going through.
Sam Adonis, andale, got to get out of here.
Not That's a moment great. Too soon. Yeah,
that's crazy. Sam, this has been a blast, man. I hope you can come back next Wednesday and do this with us.
I really enjoyed it, man. Whenever you guys want to do it again, please keep me informed. And I look forward to meeting some of your fan base, some of the Wrestling Inc. fans, and just hopefully we get to do this some more.
Yeah, we can all agree to that, Sam, and agree to John Cena's bald spot. $2 super chat. Hope he gets a good amount of jail time. Of course,
that's a fantastic screen name. Fantastic screen name. John Cena's bald spot.
Yeah. This guy, I don't even want to say this guy's name, whatever, but he's a 24-year-old nutbag. That's all I can describe him as. Sam, pimp yourself up, plug yourself. What can people
I'm actually luckily right now, wrestling's kind of starting to slowly but surely return on an independent level. I got some good stuff coming up. I wrestle for Warrior Wrestling in Chicago, which is some pretty big shows. I'll be at the Wrestling Expo in Dallas, Texas next weekend. Just staying busy the best I can. There's other shows coming up. Most of my stuff's available on my social media. My Instagram and Twitter are both at Real Sam Adonis. If you don't know me and want to check me out, find me on either one of those. Shoot me a message. I hope to be around as many people as I can. I've been lucky to have a lot of a career outside of the USA. I've spent 4 years in England, 2 years in Mexico, and countless times in Japan. But it's nice to be in the United States now and just get in touch with this market, with these American fans, just kind of extend my name the best I can. So if you see me out there, come say what's up, and hopefully I get to meet a bunch of you guys soon.
And you mentioned Warrior Wrestling. You had a match against Lance Archer. That's what it was, right?
Oh yeah, last week last week was me against Lance Archer. And then at the main event, it was actually myself, Lance Archer, Jeff Cobb, and Brian Cage in a 4-way. So next week,
that's a massive amount of humanity right there.
Oh yes. So we're the body guys, the heavyweights, if you will. I actually have a one-on-one with Brian Cage next week. So I've been really lucky to be given some really good opportunities, and I do my best to make sure I never let anybody down, with those opportunities. So I just look forward to having a better 2021 than we had 2020. That's for sure.
Amen. All right, everybody. I'll be back tomorrow during the day on the Wrestling Inc. Daily with Nick Hausman. We'll talk all the headlines of the day. Then Friday morning, I'm on Busted Open Radio with Mark Henry and Dave LaGreca. And I'll be back Friday night here on the Wrestling Inc. YouTube to talk SmackDown with Matt Morgan and Glenn Rubenstein. Thank you to Matt. Thank you to Sam. See everybody tomorrow or whenever else. Have a good night.